This episode is brought to you by regret and bad choices.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. Objects, I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And we're back in our normal time slot. I'm back in my normal time zone, my real time, not your real time or not the real time. But
Right.
hey, you know, it was actually kind of fucked up a little bit because I'm like, I really had to look at the clock all the time. Again, what time do I go to bed? What time do I got to get up? All this different shit. I'm like, do I have this figured out right? You know, God forbid well, I mean, you know, for a month I was in mountain time, which again was cool. It was cool-ish.
Right.
You know, it was fine. But yeah, I got some stuff. We actually I have a small bag of mail that we can read off this week.
Ooh.
I know I sent you a couple of them, but yeah,
Right.
new listeners, people actually listen to us.
Wow.
And send some emails. So real quick before we'll get into those in a little bit, but same deal. If you're a new listener, and we'd be very interested. We had a handful of people that emailed us, and I mean, quite honestly, we don't get a lot of email. We don't get a lot of messages, and it's fine. I mean, when we do, it's nice, you know, because
Yes,
it's not like we're getting flooded with them, right? You know, but I don't know, it just kind of
makes
makes
That'd be nice too.
Yeah, it would. But you know what? With getting a handful of emails, I don't know. I kind of feel like a hot chick. You know, it's like I've never felt that way before. I'm like, oh, this is what hot chicks feel like. You know, having people like send them DMs and stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, people sliding into our email.
Nice.
But no, it was kind of cool. But yeah, a couple of things about obviously the area I'm at. I'll tease it with there's a screaming cock in the area, so we'll get to that. we'll get to that. I went to the canyon last weekend, so yeah, it's been a pretty good week. So I've had head to the Ozarks tomorrow. We were just talking about lack of sleep on Saturdays, and yeah, I'll be up at I'm leaving here probably like 5 a.m. Which again, it's like my normal thing now. I don't really, I don't know. It's not a big deal, I guess. I just don't sleep anymore.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the older we get, the less sleep we need.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes that's true. I can deal with it. You know, it's not like I'm falling asleep while I'm driving or anything like that, thankfully. You know, but I'll be tired, and it's usually by the time I get there, by the time I go to bed on a Saturday night, you know, I've had there's been more Saturday nights since I've been sober recently, that I'm like, you know, fucking nodding off on the couch. I mean, that used to happen all the time when I was fucking drunk, you know.
Well, sure.
I told you that before. Dawn tried to wake me up, and apparently I would get into some fucking raging fit. So she just leave me there. Like, why'd you leave me on the fucking couch? She's like, because you're a dick when I try to wake you up. All right, so yeah, I got some news stories too, some fun stuff that I came across, but normal shit. But yeah, I don't know. It's I'm looking forward to getting to the mail thing just because it's kind of something new. But we have, I don't want to say, is it more important? It's tradition, it's structure. The only thing that we have that's structured in this fucking podcast is that reading every week. So
yep.
And for that, we're going to turn to our friend Mike. Mike?
Well, thanks, Bill.
Over to you.
Well, here, yeah. All right, man. Enough of that crap too. Yes, I have a reading. I do. This one's from Keep It Simple. It's from yesterday. I liked it. I said when I read it yesterday morning, I said, "Oh hell, that'll do for the podcast." So here it is, February 6th. We will not know unless we begin. Howard Zinn. Apparently, he was a playwright and historian and a couple other things. All right. Let us begin. Whether it be working on our first step, finding a sponsor, or talking to someone we've hurt, let us begin. Doubt will set in if we wait too long. Fear will follow. So let us begin. We learn by doing. Recovery is for doers. Sobriety doesn't just happen. We create it. We create it by working the steps and learning from them. We'll never totally understand the steps unless we work them. In the same way, we'll never learn how to have friends unless we try. So call your friends instead of waiting to be called. Begin and begin again. Each day is a new beginning. Prayer for the day. Higher power, today I'll begin. I'll begin by asking for your help and love. Be with me as I go through my day. Help me to work for progress, not perfection. Action for the day. Those pesky actions. Today I will not sit on the sidelines. I'll be a doer. I'll decide what to do to move closer to friends, family, higher power, and myself.
All right, so let's start with you today. Were you a doer?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I took the day off of work, so that was I started by doing that. No,
You did that, yeah. That's what I was
did
thinking.
that, right? I didn't go to work. Slept in about an extra half hour. Woohoo! Yeah, I had to take my car into the shop. It's hopefully there's some piece of wood here. Knock on that. It's all good to go now. I got a birthday coming up here in about a week and a half, which means here in the state of Ohio, my registration tags are due, my little license plate stickers, whatever the hell you want to call them. And so, right. So I got here in Cuyahoga County, we have this stupid e-check thing every 2 years, emissions check. So, yeah, and of course this year is, this year's due, and I had a check engine light on, and the car's been running fine, but it's been a saga. But anyway, so I took my car to the shop today, and then I walked home, about a half-hour walk, which I know is nothing for you professional hikers out there. Hi, Bill. But well, yeah. So I walked home, and then when it was ready at 3:30 in the afternoon, I walked back up there. So I actually walked a couple of miles today. Woohoo!
Nice.
Yeah. So, I did some shit and I laid on the couch. That was doing something.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the whole concept or the definition of doing. I mean, you could be doing nothing. You could be doing something, and then insert whatever that is. Even if you're sleeping and you're comatose, you're still doing something. You're or being
right.
You're again doing nothing. So, but I mean, I understand what they were talking about. The last thing that I wrote down though was working for progress, not perfection. So. That's something, and I know that I know we've talked about and that's one of the. I don't even know. Do you want to call it a cliche, or is that part of this part of the big book?
Yeah.
I mean, is it? Do you consider progress, not perfection, a big book, or I mean, a cliche, or just a thing?
That would be a thing. Yeah. Right. God knows there's plenty of cliches in the program.
Right.
Yes, but progress, not perfection, is definitely not one of them.
Okay.
We sort of turn it into one occasionally and use it as one occasionally, but no, it's a fucking thing, man. Absolutely, we've got to progress. And realize that we're never going to be perfect, and that's good. I don't want to be perfect. Because I never will be. So why the hell would I want that? Again, wasting time and energy, and don't do much of that anymore. But yes, progressing, definitely getting, a little bit better than we were yesterday. And frankly, don't always succeed in that. Sometimes, at this point, sometimes just maintaining, just not moving backwards.
Right.
That's a huge thing. Especially at this point, because it's real easy to, I'm not going to do that. I don't need to go to the meeting. I don't need to do my readings. Yeah, fucking A. Yes, I do. Sometimes maintaining is enough.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. I never thought about that. And you and I are probably, I, we're examples. I didn't want to say good examples. We're examples of what you just said about that, because, really, when you think about it, we're moving so much. It was constant motion when we first got sober, and easily, I mean, God, for me, definitely before I left Cleveland, and even for that first year, probably a couple of years that I was back in Wisconsin, a little bit less, but probably 75%, 75% of what I was doing in Cleveland, as far as being active and shit.
Right.
And then, think about the percentage of where our programs have come down to. And you're right. That's kind of a scary thought, but, it wouldn't take that much for us to start going backwards, you know? And we don't have there's not too many things, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because we talked about it, that thankfully we've built a life that we're comfortable with and solid with, and got a really good foundation, or a solid foundation, for us, and we know what to do, and we know when things feel wrong, and all those sort of things. But there's still that, although maybe thin layer of things that we do all the time, it's still there, but it's a thin layer.
Sometimes, yeah.
And I mean, just there's relatively few things that we do versus what we did, 12 years ago, or 13, 14 years ago.
Sure. Well, I mean, you talked about, yes, we did a lot of moving early on. Yeah. Because I needed to get the fuck away from where I was and what I was. And yeah, there needed to be a shit ton of movement, because, where I was and what I was fucking awful. So yes, through necessity, I mean, early sobriety, man, if you're not hauling ass away from what you were and where you were, you should be pretty fucking scared, man. Because I mean, we've got to get away from ourselves, what we were. It's huge. So yes, there was tons and tons of movement. I hopefully where we're at now, 14 and a half, whatever, working on 15 years later, I kind of like where I'm at now. I don't want to move away from where I'm at. I still need to improve. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty kind of okay, but again, I can't fucking move backwards, and I can't stop doing what, keeping it, even if it is a thin layer or a shield. That's the thing. The shield isn't thin anymore. It's pretty fucking thick. And that's why I don't need to keep building on it and shoveling whatever it is against that shield to build it up anymore, because it's pretty fucking strong. But if I stop maintaining it, it will deteriorate. It needs, some maintenance. I've heard that word somewhere before.
I think it's a favorite part of the big book for you. Something about the daily something reprieve maintenance. I forget how it goes. But I mean, and again, that makes that's a good point. When I said thin, I guess I was meaning, that's the wrong way to put it. I guess there's a smaller number of things that we do. We don't have this stack of things that we do as much anymore. It is it's a thinner layer, but a stronger layer, because we've become, obviously built it up. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I'm glad you talked about that, as far as not wanting to run away, there was and I think I posted it on Instagram the other day. Since I've been sober, whatever it is, it was from year I don't know, a handful of years ago when I posted it the first time, that, I've never looked in the mirror and wanted to run away from the person that I see.
Right.
And I mean, I came across it looking for just nasty fucking memes is what I was looking for. And I came across something nice. I'm like, oh, that's a nice one. But when I read it, I'm like, God damn, and I thought back, I'm like, even on in my worst moments, and we've all had them, you and I've talked about some of them, and we've had our
Right.
moments. I've never looked in the mirror and either been ashamed or wanted to run away and think, man, I can't even fucking look at you,
Right.
which is, I never really thought about that. I probably didn't think about it. I clearly didn't think about it even that much the last time I posted that fucking thing, but it hit me the right way the other day, and I was like, God damn, I like that,
Right.
And really, I mean, we don't have to move away, we don't have to run away from who we are, and that's a really good thing. But yeah, I mean, like you said, there's well, I know, I was going to say, I know for a fact that I'm more open to new things that might come along my way these days.
Sure.
But I'm not necessarily looking for new ways. Something
Right.
comes along and I'm like, well, that looks kind of cool, let me take a peek at that.
Right.
And the other thing too is that, I think if for whatever reason we either weren't doing this or stopped doing this podcast, I probably would, not even probably, I would find another outlet, whether it be
Right.
online meetings, going to I would need something, because that's one of the things that led us into this to begin with. I started
Right.
listening to podcasts, and we started doing this. There was a void that I didn't know was there, and this has helped fill that.
Absolutely.
And it is. I mean, this is this podcast, as much as we fuck around,
And we do.
and it's such a huge part of my program and my sobriety, because on a daily basis, again, social media can be a pain in the ass, but when I go on Instagram, I post a meme, then I look at this, but I'm posting our clips. I'm
Right.
involved in this stuff on a daily basis. You looking
Right.
for these readings every single day. When I read, I'm looking for something that I can post, so it's this constant, again, I guess, motion, in my head
Yeah.
about all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's all cool. But there was one thing that I wrote down, and I circled it, because everything that it was talking about that was, again, doing things and creating things and blah, blah, blah. I wrote down the word action,
Yep.
and that's what all of this stuff really is, right?
Simple program of action. Read that somewhere.
Yeah, and it says, I mean, the first thing I wrote down was, let us begin. I wrote down doubt and fear, learn by doing. We create. I like the fact that it said we create sobriety too.
Right.
And that's true. I mean, this thing. So we're given, once again, going back to the cake mix. We're given a box of cake mix with
Yep.
the steps and the meetings and the principles and all those different things. All these things that people give us. It's an IKEA.
Right. Set
It's
of directions.
Yeah, it's a box of IKEA shit that we got to build,
Yep.
But yeah, we've got to create this. Nobody gives us sobriety to give us the tools to build it, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, and I've talked about it before, I mean, the first time I went into the rooms when I was like 30 years old, selfish and self-centered and, privileged and entitled and all that bullshit. I expected the people in the rooms to get me sober. I did. Absolutely. That was my attitude. Okay, you fuckers, you need to get me sober, show me how to do this, and and basically, do the work for me, as I lived my entire life that way. And clearly it didn't work, because I went back out for another 10 years.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that was my attitude. You fuckers are going to get me sober. You're going to gather up around me and then lift me up. And, yeah, right. And asshole. It didn't fucking work, because, hey, nobody's fucking doing that. When I came in this time, I was ready to do the work. I was ready to do whatever I had to do. Program of action. Absolutely.
Right.
And the reading, what I really liked, kind of why I picked it, was, yes, begin. Don't procrastinate, because when we do, I loved what it said, then doubt will begin to set in if we wait too long.
Right.
And then if there's doubt, then fear will follow, well, maybe, and then you start getting fucking scared because your goddamn head starts going. No, just fucking do it, man. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to do it wrong, and you'll have to do it again the right way. maybe you'll do it wrong several times, but at least you're doing something. You're moving. And yeah, it's hugely important. I mean, I don't put shit off. I really, really don't. A little bit, here and there. My car should have been fixed, earlier, but it was running fine. And right, and it's still a week and a half before I have to get the tags on it. So I'm still doing all right. It's done before it's too late. I mean, the old life, March, shit, it's April already. All right, well. Tags only been bad for a fucking month. Oh, they've only been bad for 2 months. Yeah, not any. No, I get shit done when I have to get it done, and usually a little bit before.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's why I wrote down doubt and fear, because that I mean 100%. And I mean, not that I've ever dealt with either one of those things before, even recently, huh?
Right.
But the thing of it is that if I have doubts, I don't just sit my own fucking wallow in my own thoughts. I mean, I did what I did here. I mean, I brought it up and I talked to you about it, because I thought I knew maybe I had options, but I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Right.
So again, I sat there and talked about it, but that's the point. Years ago, the only reason I would have talked to somebody is to try to get something out of it. Like,
absolutely,
I need my car fixed. Can I have some money?
Right.
Or, I mean, that's what I used to do, and in this case, I just wanted to make sure that, that I was spending my money,
right.
in the right way. And I wasn't, it was,
yeah,
making a bad decision,
absolutely. Yeah. Big stuff. We run it past other people today because we have realized, I believe it's called humbling yourself. We've realized that we don't have all the fucking answers all the time. We've got a couple, and maybe our idea is okay, but we don't completely trust ourselves because we do these little things called inventories, and we realize that shit, yes, I kind of trust myself, but not completely, because I've got a history of making some pretty fucking bad decisions.
Yeah, it's like I know I'm not either I know I'm not good at this, whatever this is, or I have a question mark about it. I know somebody who I know for a fact is spot on with these things and has I don't even want to say a disinterested, but more of an even-ended view, a non-emotional view.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, that's what I need. I need if nothing else, I need an opinion. I don't necessarily need to be told what to do. Sometimes I just need an opinion or direction. Not that I don't. Sometimes I do need to be told what to do.
Well, yeah.
Let me just step back a minute.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I fucking lied there, everyone. Sorry. But a lot of times I just need a non-emotional opinion because I'm an emotional motherfucker.
Yup.
And I don't want to be, but I am.
Right.
Better than I used to be. That's
right. Absolutely.
Sure.
Right.
Back to progress, not perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's funny. And I every time progress and not perfection is brought up, I just think about when the first time I heard that, I literally, and I never used it that way, but I looked at it right away as, okay, there's my out. There's my excuse.
Loophole.
Loophole, right? Yeah, I don't have to. I don't have to do well because I mean these words right here says that all I got to do is quote unquote try and I'm fine.
Nope.
Yeah. And,
no, you have to progress. That's the first fucking word of the phrase. Progress.
Right. It says try, not perfection, right? Isn't that what it says?
No.
But literally, I did. I looked at it loophole. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't pull that word out of my ass, but yeah, I was looking at it as a loophole, which.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's the thing, again, you see all the readings and there's memes out there, the positive memes, not the fucking nasty ones that say, yeah, even a little bit of movement. Usually it's a fucking turtle that they're showing, which is fine. I mean, it's a visual, but that's the thing. The only thing that 100% that we have to guarantee ourselves on a daily basis is, that first step, the powerlessness, don't pick up the first one, all that stuff. But on top of that, at a minimum, we've got to stay the same. We can't go backwards. If we're on that escalator that's going down, we got to keep on fucking walking or we're going to go backwards, And I mean, if that's the hardest thing I got to do on a daily basis is just not go fucking backwards.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, move a fucking centimeter forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's progress. That is
Yes, it
progress.
is.
But it's kind of funny too that there's and same thing I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I've mentioned it a few times though that once again that book Touchstones, I'm enjoying it. It's I don't grab a reading out of there every day, to
Mhm.
post, but there's been a number of them that I've grabbed from there, and it is just again it's a different thing. Nothing
Sure.
wrong with the other book that I was reading,
Mhm.
but just a little bit of kind of like fresh blood in there and a little
Yeah.
bit different perspective and. Um, Once again, that book is supposed to be I geared towards men, but
Right.
there's such a small percentage of them,
Yeah.
and I don't post the ones like we as men because I'm like, it's, it's not just dudes that are listening to our or
Mhm.
obviously on our Instagram page, but
Right.
it's there's very few that I have to look at. I'm like, well, I'm not going to post that one because it's just a guy thing,
Right.
but it's almost pointless. I mean, you don't have to talk. It's usually it has nothing to do with men. It's just
Right. It's
it's a
universal shit.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Truth.
exactly. It's just like being
Yeah.
in a in a men's meeting. It's not that we're not talking about the same stuff. It's just that there's just men in there. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. You could swear more.
right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It is funny sometimes that I over the years in meetings when some guy, usually it's a guy who's been around for a bit.
Mhm.
It's one of the old timers like, well, we're in mixed company, so I'm not going to tell that story. But
Right.
it's like okay, I guess yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So, what else? Anything else on the reading? I mean, obviously, say it all the time, but that was a good one. But
Yeah.
anything else?
No, I think we covered it. Just, yeah, right. Keep fucking moving, man.
Yeah. Again, keep it simple. Keep
Yeah.
fucking moving.
Exactly, man. We're fucking sharks. We got to keep moving or we'll die.
Yeah, I always like that analogy too. It's a good one. Again, it's a visual, but it's a damn good one. So,
Yep.
all right. So, speaking of touchstones, and I think I might have wrote this down today, and I don't remember what I wrote down. So here we go. Touchstones was talking about having a conscious contact with our higher power.
Mhm.
Some of us use, or it said, some of us use silent meditation, observing nature, listening to music, or writing in a journal.
Mhm.
And my question to you, my friend Mike, what do
Yes.
you on a daily basis? What do you use to get that conscious contact with? Whatever your higher power is, because again, it's conscious contact with power greater than the cells, higher
Sure.
power, God, whatever it is.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so what do you think?
I mean, out of those, I would, as goofy as it sounds, probably silent meditation. I mean, there's very often, and even I find more now than ever. I'll spend like, you guys know I drive for a living. I will not have anything on. I will just like an hour or two, sometimes even more. I mean, there's days where I'll go 4 hours without the radio on, without a podcast going, without nothing, just quiet thinking and whatever. Yes. So I mean it is. Silence is a wonderful thing sometimes. Just fucking shut everything down, man, and just let your head go.
Right.
And clearly, I mean, I float. We've talked about that. Getting in the isolation tanks, and that's a huge part of keeping myself sane these days. Um, yeah, shutting it all off, man, and yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah. So, I mean, out of all of those, because I mean, music, I'm way too involved to be able to use that. I don't even. What were the other ones?
There was writing in a
Oh,
journal,
yeah, that ain't happening.
observing nature was
Yeah,
another one.
yeah. A little of that. That's part of it, but yeah, mostly the silence, just fucking shutting everything off, and shutting off the screens, shutting off the sounds, and just living, thinking. Yes.
Right. Yeah, and I was trying to think of that as you were talking, and I do that every once in a while. Probably, I don't even say less now. I drive more, but a lot of times I
Hmm.
have been listening to audiobooks and that sort
Right.
of thing. But there are times when, and it's just you get to the point where I'm like, I can't handle a fucking voice anymore,
Right.
and I don't get irritated, but I'm like, I just shut it, like you say,
Yeah.
shut it down,
Yep.
So that is one I consider the even though neither one of us, sit on cross-legged, all that stuff like we talked about, fucking meditate.
Uh-huh.
The readings that I do in the morning, although, a quick 15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
to me, when, it's first thing in the morning, wherever I'm at doing it, even if I'm around people, I find a quiet place to do it.
Yeah.
And just doing the reading like that that's part of that for me. But I've said it before, and it wasn't a conscious. I didn't specifically start going on hiking trails and stuff like that to
Mm-hmm.
have my, conscious contact with some fucking higher power. It just
Sure.
didn't.
Right.
But and again, when I'm out there, I'm not like, okay, higher power, here I am. I'm about to consciously contact with you.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
I don't do that either, but I don't listen to music. I never have.
Mm-hmm.
I've only gone on, hiking trails with, 3 or 4 different times, maybe a handful of times with actually other people.
Sure.
So other than that, I'm by myself, and I walk and I listen and I enjoy, and it's so fucking peaceful.
Yeah.
Or just going to, I mean, I stood in the middle of a goddamn, field the other
Mm-hmm.
night on the side of a highway when I went to that Cadillac Ranch thing, which is very, very strange, kind of weird, but,
Yes.
and I just stayed there and, cause I two things, I saw that you could catch a good sunset. Plus I'm like, I got to see what this fucking thing's all about.
Right.
But so I just, just stood out there,
Mm-hmm.
and, again, I've done sunset things, all that stuff. It's just quiet time.
Yeah.
That's all that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Journaling, I've never done. I write
Mm-hmm.
things, but I've never journaled. And if I'm listening to music, I'm doing it for the enjoyment of the music, not to,
Right.
not to get fucking conscious contact with shit.
Yeah. Right.
But you know what? I mean, sometimes listening to, if I, because I'll listen to these audiobooks and stuff like that, which I enjoy. I listen to a lot of Mark Maron,
Mm-hmm.
which, he dips into his sobriety stuff,
Sure.
but there are times that I'm like, I need to listen to a sobriety podcast, either to
Mm-hmm.
get ideas for this here,
Right.
or just to open up my fucking mind. And I'll listen to. There's one, the Sober Motivation,
Mm-hmm.
podcast, and that's all stories. It's all structured stories, and I just listen to. Again, I don't need drunkalogs, but I'm listening to them every once in a while.
Sure.
So I don't know if I need it or I just like, let's get some of this shit in my head again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Because, we have to, again, consciously do that. We have to plug ourselves back into this thing because it's real fucking easy to unplug and go, I'm just living my life. Everything's fine. No, we're alcoholics and drug addicts and we need to be a part of this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that is true. That is true. And that kind of leads on to the next one I just kind of looked at.
All right.
Is there anything that you know now? Again, we talked about almost 15 years sober,
Uh-huh.
that you wish you knew either back in your drinking days or when you first got sober. So anything that you know now that you look back and like, God damn, I wish I would have known this in the beginning, or I wish I would have known this when I was still, when you were still in your active shit, up to your
Mm.
ears and shit.
Up to my ears and me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
No, that's kind of I can't think that way,
Right.
I didn't know what I didn't know. I hate that, but yes. No, no. I mean, everything it had to be the way it was, and I know what I know now, and I don't know. I'm gonna hopefully know something in another 5-10 years that I don't know today. And I'm not going to look back and go, well, shit, I wish I'd have known that 5 years ago. Why? That's just a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. If we would have grabbed onto this thing,
Right.
rather than 15 years ago, maybe it was 20 years ago, maybe it was
Right.
25 years ago, maybe it's when we were whatever age. And like you've always said it, it's dangerous thinking, because
Yeah.
then you're like, it's almost gets into regrets and
Yeah,
this could form
absolutely.
a resentment or whatever the
Yeah,
case
right.
is.
I mean, I need to appreciate what I have now and not, I should have known this before. Well, apparently I fucking shouldn't have.
And it had to have been, same thing. It had to have been a podcast that I was listening to, because some of these notes I write down, if if I don't identify where they came from, like one of the readings or something like that. Usually I pulled it from a podcast. And I didn't think about it when I wrote it down that, we've talked about that thing before, but that's exactly right. That, I don't know. I mean, like you say, I'm not a fan of that saying either. Well, I didn't know what I didn't know. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit.
Really?
Yeah. Thank you for the updates, you fucking knob.
Right. It's for the news flash, Cronkite.
But really, I mean, for me to sit back and say, I wish, or I would have, or I could have, or I should have, anything like that. Like we were talking about to begin with, you mentioned that, if maybe you're going to do it wrong, just do something. And if you're going to do it wrong, that's how you learn from it.
Yep.
And the main thing, and you said it far more than I ever had, that all of these things that we went through, all of this, in some cases pain and maybe regret, like the beginning of our podcast, regret bad choices, it all has worth, right?
Absolutely, because we can use it to help somebody else. That's, it's not about, again, it's not about me, man. It's not about, if my life would have been so much better. No, I needed to go through the garbage so I could help the next guy along to get out of his garbage.
Yeah, it's really. I get when I wrote that down and even thinking back now, I can't. I mean, yeah, I wish I wouldn't have. I can't even say that. I was going to say I wish I wouldn't have caused the hurt and the pain to other people. I mean, but everything that I did, as painful as it is, when I think about, once again, my kids or mom or Kathy or Dawn or Pam or anything like that, I'm not happy with the pain that I caused. I'm thankfully gotten through, rebuilt, and all the sort of things.
Yeah.
So how can I even go back and say I wish that wouldn't have happened? Because I mean, all these little things, again, they're pieces to this fucking puzzle, right?
Right. Exactly. Right. I mean, clearly we were, that's a good thing that we're glad, that we're sad that we caused the pain.
Right.
Because I mean, at the time when we were causing the pain, we weren't all that particularly, we didn't fucking care. What do you mean I'm causing you pain? Too fucking bad. You're causing me pain by me causing you pain. Right. That's how we fucking thought. That's how I thought. Right. So, I mean, again, how could I feel bad about causing the pain if I didn't cause the pain? I know it's fucked, but yes.
Yeah, it really is. Because I was, as soon as I said that, I'm like, God, I can't even take that back, because, I can't even regret that because, again, all these different things. I mean, you've got to learn from all. I had to be a fucking raging asshole, dick ass motherfucker.
Yep.
In order to be this wonderful individual that I am.
That's right.
Real quick, and not that I'm a wonderful individual, but no. I was so happy about this. So we talk about, this is kind of I don't know, maybe this is somehow sobriety related. So we talk about, obviously leaving places, the same or better than we left them, right?
Right.
So, hang on one second. Let me get to these. The last two, I try to do my best when I'm in these Airbnbs. I treat them as my own.
Sure.
I don't leave lights on. I don't run water anything. I treat it as if I were paying for everything. I am, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also I don't make a fucking mess. So
yeah.
So I was in Phoenix for 2 weeks. And when I left there, this was the review that she left me. She said, Bill was an absolutely incredible guest, took amazing care of the house. It was so clean, exclamation point. He's the type of guest, host, just love, 100% welcome back anytime. And I was like, God damn, that was nice. I've had people say some nice things, but I always leave a place clean, right?
Right.
So the place I was at in Prescott, the last place I was at, this is Don, the fucking talker and blah, blah, blah. And
right.
He's like, Bill may have been the tidiest guest we have ever had in all our years of being with Airbnb. Wonderful guest. And I looked at those and I'm like, I didn't do anything
right
out of the ordinary. You know? And I was like, that's why it made me feel so good, because I'm like, okay, so just being the normal person that I think is normal, other people looked at that as something out of the ordinary, you know? And again, I don't look at that. I'm not saying that, oh, look at me, I'm so great. I don't mean it that way. It's just, it's the acknowledgement. It just reinforces what I don't even try to do on a daily basis.
Exactly.
I mean, I do, but I don't, you know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I was, I was actually, my truck is in the shop. I took it up there Tuesday. I forget. Anyway, I've been in another truck this week, and clearly it's another guy's truck he was off for a few days or whatever. So I was using his truck. Yeah, and I mean, there were things that I had to fix a couple of things because they weren't fucking right, and yeah, I mean, I left it better than I had it,
Right.
and that's just fuck, man. That's what we do. That's the way we were taught to do things. It's not, if he acknowledges it, whatever. If he doesn't, I don't fucking care. It's what I needed to do. It's how I do things today.
Right.
It's like I'm, had some people in my house this week who didn't do that. And I'm going, fuck, man. You spill something, you clean it up. It's, I don't massively clean. Chris talks about all the time. It's like, we're having a poker game here. We're trying to get that going again.
Nice.
And yeah, right. So the 22nd, we're gonna have a poker game here at my house, and I'm like, I'm gonna go. Well, I gotta fucking clean. And Chris looks at me and she goes, "What are you talking about? Your house is fucking clean." Because I'm constantly doing little things, so I don't have to majorly do stuff. I don't leave clothes on the floor. I pick them up and put them in the laundry. I wipe the sink down. I have a specific towel in my bathroom for wiping the sink down. That's Keating Center shit, man. There was rags in the bathroom in the Keating Center. When you were done with the sink, you fucking wiped it down. I've done it for 15 years, whatever. I mean, it's just, so shit, if there's a little spot of something somewhere, I wipe it up. I clean it up. I pick it up. I whatever, yeah, it's just who we fucking are now. Right.
It was just like I say, it was just to two in a row, and I was at, like I said, a place in Phoenix for 2 weeks. And I
Sure.
mean, you're living, but
Yeah.
I mean, but still,
but the way we live is as we go along. Cause I mean, shit, I don't want to spend, 8 hours cleaning my house cause it's a fucking mess. I just clean little tiny things. I take 30 seconds 40 times a day and it's done.
Right. Well, even the guy in Prescott said, in the one in Prescott, it kind of surprised me to begin with, because so where it was, the driveway was dirt, and the dirt in this area, it's you're up, literally it was, it's 5,800 feet up or whatever the elevation was in that area. So you're up this mountain, and it is this kind of it's this really fine dirt that, it's hard not to track stuff in. And I didn't like sweep up or do anything like that, but I'm like, there's got to be fucking dirt in here,
Right.
But I tried really hard. I would wear just my sandals out so I could take my sandals off and hit them. Try not to, if I took my shoes in before I walked in, I took my shoes off and, tapped them out. Because I don't want to fucking track this shit in anywhere I live,
Right.
let alone somebody else's fucking place,
Yeah.
But then, when he said that, I'm like, oh, okay, and he said, he's like, don't take the guard, he puts in everyone's got instructions for Airbnb what to do. Like this place says, put the towels, sheets, and the bath mat thing in the washer. It doesn't say run it, but I'll probably start the washer. Then they don't have to fucking deal with it,
Yeah.
But like he said, don't worry about, I forget what the one thing was. Don't worry about the towels. He said, we wash them all, but I put the towels I used, I put over the tub. So that these were used.
Right.
And then he's like, don't even worry about emptying the garbage. But I bought chicken, and I don't leave chicken in the garbage can inside. I take it outside because I don't like the fucking smell.
Right.
So I didn't know where the garbage cans were, but there's a mini garage. It's not even big enough to pull a car. It's like a storage area attached to the house that you get to from the outside. That's where his garbage cans were. So I took, not only throughout the week, I emptied the garbage once and put my bag of chicken in there.
Right.
But tied it up tight so it wouldn't stink up that fucking place.
Right.
But I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm taking the garbage out. Fuck it. And I did.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's probably what he thought. He said, don't worry about it. But I did. I took that out and put the towels where they go, and I made the bed. And, I'll take the fucking sheets off the bed, and then I'll pull up the comforter, and the bed's going to be quote unquote made when I leave you. And I talked about that before. But yeah, I mean, I've had some people say, turn, whatever bed you use, if it's more than one bed, to make sure you, leave the comforter off and leave the sheet. Now, gently, nicely turn it down so you know it was used. I'm like, Jesus Christ, but I can't. Part of me is just like, this is fucking ridiculous. Like you and I talked about, I make the bed and then I take it off and then take the sheets off.
Right.
I'm like, I made the bed.
Yep.
And it's silly, but not in a bad way. It's not in a fucking bad way at all.
It's just, it's kind of something we have to do.
There's no doubt. I fucking have to do it.
And again, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't, we don't have to understand it. We just have to fucking do it. And that's, it's how we live our goddamn lives today.
Right. Yeah, so again, like I said, the Airbnb thing, it just kind of popped into my head. So I had I meant to mention that to you, but I didn't have it written down. So I'm glad I thought of it, because again, it just kind of fucking blew my mind. Okay, one last thing. It's getting close to like the break time here.
Yeah.
So we passed obviously Groundhog Day this week, which again, imagine that. Guess what? 6 more weeks of winter. Boo.
Yeah.
That was Punxsutawney Phil that said that. I think the one in Milwaukee said early spring. It's different, whatever it is.
Yeah, it depends if the sun's out or not.
Right. So here's the thing. So in Milwaukee, okay, which I didn't know this, the Milwaukee County Zoo, they have their own, or they had up until 2 years ago, they had a groundhog. His name was Gordy. Okay.
All right.
Gordy the groundhog, which as soon as they said it, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember that. I was there for 30 goddamn years,
Right.
But here's what they have now at the Milwaukee County Zoo. They have Nigerian dwarf goats as stand-ins for the groundhog. And I'm like, what? So ever since, for the last 2 years, apparently they have fucking Nigerian dwarf goats. I looked them up. They're little. Everyone, look up Nigerian dwarf goat. You'll laugh. It looks like a fucking toy. It's this little fucking goat. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then it just made me laugh because, again, PETA was going nuts again this year about don't use this, don't use that. I can't for the life of me remember what their suggestion was to use, but whatever it was, I laughed. But I'm like, I laugh more at a fucking Nigerian dwarf goat. Have you ever heard of a Nigerian dwarf goat?
I have not.
See, and out of all the people I know in my life, if anyone would have heard of a Nigerian fucking dwarf goat, it would have been my friend Mike over here.
Yes.
So, okay, cool.
No, cool.
But all right, whatever. Is it? I think it's about that time for a break, right? What do you think?
It is. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll be back with more goat talk right after these words from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
Yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have 2 websites now. So 2 websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
.com.
SoberNotMature.com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say SoberNotMature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. So, Goat Talk. We had the you know what it reminded me of?
Welcome back to Goat Talk.
Yes. Welcome back to Goat Talk with your friends Mike and Bill. It reminded me of, what episode was that we were talking about the goat? You got the goat with the fucking fedora. That's literally one of my favorite because this is now episode 155. I always love your for all of our new listeners. I don't know if we mentioned this in the last few weeks. The episode title and the picture in every one of our episodes except for one. I did the Cheeseland Chronicles. I did I suggested the Grim Reaper with the cheese head.
Right.
That was the only one that I'm like, this. Let's use this one. It fits, type of thing.
Right.
But other than that, so for 153 other, and now 154 with this one, Mike chooses the picture and the episode title. So
right.
Every once in a while, it's just as I'm flipping through something, I'm like, I go back and I look at something, I fucking laugh every goddamn time because they're so stupid, and they're stupid in a really fucking wonderful way. You know,
I try.
And some of them, seriously, I'll open them up and I fucking laugh out loud, you know, because usually we get off the episode, then, you know, I start doing whatever, and, you know, start doing the shit here, and then I don't know what, 10-15 minutes later, sometimes a little bit longer, within that time frame, you know, I get a text message, and it's almost opening up a Christmas present. I'm like what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? It just it makes me laugh every time. So all right, so things that didn't make me laugh but actually made me really happy this week. Shall we dip into the mailbag?
Let's do it.
All right, so we got a couple of them. Actually, I think the first one we got, this one came through. So we use a website called Podpage for our Sober Not Mature website, our podcast website. And they can get messages through there and whatever. So that's how we ended up getting the first one.
All right.
So as a reminder, obviously this wasn't the first one I got. Where's the first fucking one I got? Because we got the one I told you about, the one from, I don't want to. We'll get to it. I think this was the first one that we got, but again through Podpage. So
does it really matter?
Yeah, because it was one I was thinking about. And I wrote down where the guy was from.
Okay.
But again, we'll get to it. So we had asked last week, obviously, same thing we started out with, you know, hey, let us know where you've heard of us, blah, blah, blah. So this guy says, hi, guys, my name is Tim, and I'm an alcoholic, sober date 6/10 of 85. Okay.
Nice.
So he says, okay, I'm hooked. Heard about Sober Not Mature on another podcast. Checked out a couple of episodes, and being the true alcoholic I am now listening from the beginning. I may be 70 years old and sober for 39 plus years, but have no claim on maturity. Then he said, I don't know if we had to have talked about this at some point, but he said, my favorite phrase driving might be, yield means yield, you fucking pinhead. So he says, so think I might qualify to be a newly rabid listener.
Nice.
I prefer conversational podcasts over speaker tapes, which is why I listened to more than one episode. Thanks for what you do. And as the 12 and 12 says, don't take yourself so damn seriously. And you don't. So this dude is from Maine. His name is Tim, and from Maine. So thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
But just in the other podcast, because the first one that I read, the guy said where he heard us from, and I think that might be in the Sober Not Mature email. Give me 1 second. I have more than one. I have more than. Well, yeah, I know you do too, but fuck, I get all these fucking info emails. It's just fucking ridiculous. Where's the dude from? Oh, here we go. Is this the one? Yes, it is. Okay, yeah. So I believe this was the first one that we got.
Okay.
Dear Mike and Bill, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Russell, and I'm reaching out from Cape Town, South Africa.
Nice.
I've been listening to your podcast and really enjoying it. I wanted to let you know that I heard about your podcast through Sober Speak, where Gary B and the host gave you a shout out.
Cool.
Shared your podcast on our WhatsApp meme group. He puts a link in there that I did not click into. Keep up the fantastic work. I'll continue to tune in and appreciate your content. Best regards, Russell. So yeah, this dude's from South Africa.
Nice.
And I looked and you could see, yeah, I mean, we got a hit on our website from obviously South Africa, so the guy wasn't lying. So thank you, Russell.
Well, thank you.
thanks for the email, and thanks for not being a lying fuck. You know,
yes, we appreciate that.
We actually did have one person check in from South Africa, so I know it's true. So here's the thing in what I wrote down. So it didn't click right away when the guy said sober speak. We've had Gary on.
Right.
Anyone who was a new listener, go back to, we had Gary on episode 81 and episode 117. We will have Gary on again. He's become a friend and he's a good dude. And then we had John from Sober Speak on episode 121. I think that was over the summer, July area, because I think I was in Wisconsin when we had him on. Okay. But he's the one. Sober Speak is his website. That's the name of his podcast. So that's where these people are hearing us. And I listened to the episode, and literally it's in like the first 10 minutes of Gary's episode that we're brought up, that both John and him are talking about us. Basically, they heard of each other from our podcast because they both were on our podcast. That's how they came together, and then Gary ended up being a guest on his.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, but then
or incestuous, one of the two.
Yeah, John said something about he goes, those guys have a hell of a sense of humor, don't they? Something like that. It was actually really funny. I was kind of laughing, but
cool.
It couldn't have been more than a 2-minute conversation, 3-minute conversation.
Right.
So I had actually left a message for John on that episode, Spotify, because I listened to the whole thing. But I might reach out to him again, because obviously, if we're getting some play back and forth, it might be good for, for all of us involved. But yeah, so we've had, once again, we had Gary on episode 81 and 117. John was on episode 121. So, and listen to Sober Speak. I've listened to John. He's a good dude. He's got a lot of great guests and great topics, and he was fun. He was fun to talk to.
Absolutely.
He kind of interviewed us back and forth too, as we were talking to him, which is always fun. It's always
absolutely
fun. So, okay. I think I have two more. This dude says, I'm enjoying the first of your podcasts I have listened to. John from Sober Speak and his guest Gary, we're talking about you guys. I like to listen to Sober podcasts when I need a meeting, but I can't get to one. I'm liking what I hear so far, and we'll go back and listen to some of the older episodes. Thanks for sharing. So Thank you. That dude's name, it came over as Moosie, Moosie.
All right.
And then got another one.
Moosie.
Got another one. This is Billy C. He starts off, "What's up, fellas? My name is Billy C. from West Islip, New York. Clean and sober date 6/6 of 96. Maintain a home group, Serenity by the Sea in Bayshore, New York. A sponsor and a commitment throughout my 28 and a half years. This shit works." You asked on the last podcast why you have more listeners. Speaking for myself, I heard your podcast mentioned on Sober. He said Sobercast, but I know it's Sober Speak with John. Looking forward to adding Sober Not Mature to my playlist of sober people. Keep up the good work. Onward and upward. So,
nice.
I had one more. I'm sorry about that.
Oh shit!
I know.
My ego's getting stroked.
I said I got a fucking bag full of these. Okay. So this guy's name is Guy. You wanted to know where.
Hi, Guy.
Hello, Guy.
I'm sure he's never heard that before.
Right. What's up, Guy? You guys wanted to know where the hell, I said where the fuck people are coming from, but anyhow, where the hell people are coming from. Here you go. Reddit. He said that it was a recommendation on stop drinking, he thinks. And I'm like, really? I tried to search for something on Reddit. Whatever. I mean, hey, if we came across on Reddit, more power to him.
Cool.
He had a 5-year bout of sobriety, lapsed during COVID, back on the wagon for 9 months. Originally from UK, lived in Russia, Saudi, Hungary, Kuwait, Maryland, California, and now Minnesota.
Wow.
And he ordered a long sleeve T-shirt from us from the website. So
cool.
Yeah. So thank you, Guy.
Right. Damn. Doing some geographics out there, huh, guy?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was I was going to say that hey, that's it. But yeah, that was it.
Right.
But
Wow.
that yeah,
Cool.
literally the thing of it is number one, thank you. I know thank you for both of us, right, Mike? I mean, I
Oh,
can speak for you
absolutely.
there too. The thanks
Thank
is all on the side of the table.
absolutely. And welcome and hang around and hell, tell a friend.
Yeah, exactly. And seriously, when I said it before and when we were talking about it, we do not the number of emails, messages, and things like that we get, and we're coming up on a couple of weeks on the 27th. Yeah, 27th.
Uh-huh.
Will be 3 years doing this
Right.
thing. Okay,
Yep.
and we probably that's more emails than we've gotten probably in the entire calendar year of
Right.
2024.
Oh, absolutely.
Which again is fine. You
Yeah.
know, we don't necessarily need that, but I'll tell you what, every once in a while, it's pretty cool being the hot chick, like I said before.
It is. God damn.
Yeah. So there. But yeah, like Mike said, yeah. I mean, if I, I don't know, tell somebody if you guys like what
Yeah.
you're hearing. We appreciate it.
Mhm.
It is it's more humbling. God, fuck. I mean, this would be a true ego, like you said. You know, my
Yes.
ego's getting stroked. It's almost I don't want to embarrassing is the wrong word. It's truly humbling to have people reach out like that
Absolutely.
and say nice things, because if you just started listening, literally, we started this just to occupy our Friday nights,
Mhm.
get together and shoot the shit,
Yep.
and literally to begin with, we thought if people listen, fine. If they don't, fuck them.
Yep.
If people like it, cool. If they don't, fuck them.
Yep.
And you know what? I mean, it's kind of that way. We've had people, that don't like us. It's been a
Mhm.
long time since we've gotten a negative comment.
Right. We like those too.
Oh, those are fucking fun. Those are a
Yep.
lot of fun, because I remember to begin with, God, early episode we were talking about, we're like, yeah, I think you said that. You're like, yeah, whatever the conversation was, keep the trolls out, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, should we really tell people? No, let's
No.
invite the
Please.
trolls.
Troll away.
Yeah.
We could take it.
Yeah, and plus it gives us a lot of good conversation too. So, but anyhow, seriously, thank everyone. Yeah, and if you're new and you haven't reached out, to be interesting to see again where people come from, even if it's from the same place.
Mhm.
What area of the country. I mean, I can see kind of where people come from here and there.
Right.
But seriously, I mean, we've had more listens, more plays, more activity in the last 3 weeks than we've had in months, and it's humbling and it's gratifying, but it's also again truly humbling. So I don't
Yeah.
know, all I
And
can say is,
appreciated.
oh God,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. We are grateful for you fuckers.
Yeah, it's like every once in a while, and I don't even think about it anymore that and we break the fourth wall every once in a while. We're like
Mhm.
talk to people that way, but we literally just have a conversation here, and I really forget sometimes. It's like, God, we fucking talked about that. Jesus Christ.
Right.
But
we said that and someone actually heard us. Fuck.
right? Yeah, and you're like, God damn, I can't believe I shared that on the airways, but it's all good. It's all good. So, all right. So, from God Grant Me,
Mhm.
I have a I'm just going to read this like it came out of my fucking mouth. Okay. Listen, I have a list, my present challenges, and
Ugh.
what gifts can be found within them. So I'll read it back the way it should be.
Yeah.
I will or shall list my present challenges and what
Mhm.
gifts can be found within them. So, are there any challenges that you're having at the moment, and
Hmm.
can you find a gift in the challenge? I heard the a little
Yeah.
like to.
Um, no, I'm not really challenge. I don't know. No, not really. Things are pretty fucking good. Um, but that being said, clearly we've had challenges,
Right.
and yeah, the gifts are the being able to get through it without having to fucking pick up a drink or a drug. That's fucking huge gift. Be able to handle shit, be able to know that we're not doing it by ourselves anymore. That's a wonderful gift. It doesn't matter what the fucking challenge is. In the present moment, no, I'm sitting here in my house and doing a podcast, and shit's pretty fucking good. My car's fixed, and I had a day off of work, and fuck, man, life's pretty goddamn good. I'm gonna have some friends over in a couple of weeks to play some cards, and shit, or I won't, because it's fucking 2 weeks away. Who knows? But I mean, a week away from today, if things go the way they should, we're gonna go float, and then Chris and I are going out to dinner for Valentine's Day / my birthday. And fuck, man, life's goddamn good right now.
Right.
But to the gifts, I know that no matter what happens, good or bad, I will get through it, and I will be sober, and I'm probably not going to hurt anybody too fucking bad getting through it.
I like the fact that you qualified that too.
Of
fucking
course,
bad.
have to.
No, I know. It's just it's funny. Yeah, it's like it's like we have to say, well, just so you know, I'm not going to try, but
right, yeah,
it could happen.
It could, but yeah, it's a hell of a lot better than it's guaranteed I'm gonna fucking hurt you no matter what happens, good or bad. So yes, I'm going to. My impact will be very light, one way or another.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, that's a good point about. I mean, I don't know. I suppose you could have looked at like you said, your car's fixed. I mean, it was.
Right.
It was. I mean, I suppose to begin with, maybe a challenge, but again, it's a life thing.
Yeah. Right.
What you and I talked about with my car thing a couple weeks ago. It is what
Right.
it is, type of thing.
Mhm.
But there are. I know there's been plenty of challenges over the last, again, almost 15 years where,
Sure.
something happens at a particular time, place, or whatever it is, and you're kind of like, well, what the fuck, man? And
Mhm.
like you said, the gift is number one. No, we know how to deal with it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what has been thrown at us. There's been some shit thrown at us over the
Of
years. Not
course.
terrible. I think I say it all the time that I know just from the people we hang with, the stories that we listen to. There's people out there that have had really challenging times and years, far more challenging than I have.
Right.
As far as my sobriety, I consider my sobriety to be relatively smooth
Mhm.
with life bumps here and there,
Right.
But I mean, everyone has those.
Yes.
But no matter what's been thrown at us, I mean, we know that we've got the tools to deal with it. We know that even if we have no fucking clue on what to do, we can go to
Mhm.
somebody.
Yeah.
And the gift behind that is, like you said, if nothing else, I know I'm going to get through it. And
Yeah.
at some point, something's going to be revealed to me. I think more is what they say. More.
I believe so.
I've heard that more.
Yep.
More is to be something revealed.
Yes.
At some point. But yeah, I mean, I may not know why something happened right now or why I felt a certain way, but either I'll figure it out at some point or I fucking won't, and I'll get through it.
Right. Exactly.
like you said, that maybe that in and of itself is the fucking gift, right?
It is. It's a fucking wonderful gift, and I'm very grateful that we have it.
Right. This is going to be a random one. I'm just kind of looking back. I get so many of these things, and I wonder sometimes if, as I'm glancing over these two things that I've written down, it's just over the years that some of these readings tend to be the same, or Christ, it could be some of these things could have been sitting here for a fucking year for all I know.
Right.
So I could be reading the same thing a year later. So I'm just going to pick one out from Keep It Simple. We need friends who will not just tell us what we want to hear, but what we are doing wrong. Okay.
Absolutely.
I knew you'd agree with that. But the question I wrote down in parentheses is, why is that so important?
Because my way doesn't fucking work. My life is fucking unmanageable. Step one, shit, man. Yes, my life is unmanageable. I need other people to help me out with this shit, because clearly my way doesn't work. I need fresh perspective, like we talked about in the beginning. I doesn't necessarily, I'm too emotionally wrapped up in my own shit. And thankfully I know that today, and right, I get some clear perspective from an outside source, and I need that. I know I need that. I don't have all the answers. My way is fucked up. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
It just, I like the way we did that too. You're like, woof. But yeah, and that's the thing that there are, and I'll be honest. I mean, to this day, I mean, I think I'm pretty open to hearing other people's opinions.
Mhm.
Most of the time.
Right.
But when it comes to people in sobriety, I could take those opinions far easier than I could take them from somebody else.
Oh,
Does that make
absolutely.
sense? Okay. I
Mhm.
was trying to think about that. I'm like, does that make sense? And I hope it does, because I may not like, and I don't even think there's been things along the way that you said to me that I didn't like. It
Mhm.
may be uncomfortable to hear.
Mhm.
I may not want to hear it only in the fact that I wish I wasn't. I don't want to be in that position to deserve that. You know what I
Right.
mean? I I
Mhm.
I and I didn't wish, if I were acting the way I needed to, I wouldn't need to be told by another
Right.
sober individual that I needed to get my shit together. That's a better way
Right.
to put it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. But
and I was
that's but that's gonna fucking happen.
right.
Right. Yeah, clearly. Right. Again, if our way was working, if we had all the goddamn answers, we wouldn't need any of this shit.
Right. That's a goddamn good point. But yeah, sometimes I mean it's just, if you're random individual, especially if somebody doesn't know me really well,
Mhm.
maybe even if somebody knows me well, and maybe somebody's trying to push buttons, which I really don't have.
Mm.
I can't even. Well,
Yeah.
mom was probably the last person I had in
Right.
my life that knew what buttons to push and did, and
Mhm.
she did that with fucking everyone.
Right.
Love her to death, but again, she
Mhm.
had this, and I take it back. It's generational.
Mhm.
It's how she lived. It's how she was raised,
Right.
and and that's the one thing. I'm not saying that anyone or I'm not saying anyone needs therapy, but I know some of the shit that she went through, and I
Mhm.
just don't think that she really came to grips with a lot of things,
Sure.
and I think she had a lot of pain, and
Mhm.
I part of the and I don't even know how I like to say, I gave her a lot of leeway and a lot of grace,
Sure.
because I knew that she didn't deal with a lot of her pain over the years,
Mhm.
and I knew where it was coming from. It wasn't
Right.
personal. It
Mhm.
was fucking mean sometimes.
Right. Well, yeah. Well,
But it
that's
wasn't personal. It wasn't
exactly.
personal.
Right. Yeah, that's working a proper eighth step, isn't it?
Right. Right. But so in those circumstances, I mean, I don't really have people that are actively trying to push my buttons, but
Mhm.
those are the ones that I don't really want to listen to opinions. If somebody tells me to do something, I'm like, well, fuck you, I'll do the other thing.
Right.
Whereas if somebody in a sobriety standpoint, unless somebody, and again, I don't hang around. I was going to say, unless somebody's trying to, quote unquote, take my inventory,
Mhm.
which that doesn't even happen because I don't spend time with those type of people in
Sure.
recovery.
Right.
So, I mean, I take what people tell me, specifically a person like you, because of, you and I are so goddamn close.
Right.
I value your opinion. And if you didn't say something to me and I went off the fucking deep end, I wouldn't blame you for it, but I'd be like,
Mhm.
dude, what the
Yeah,
fuck,
right.
man?
Yeah, right. Why did you let me fucking get this far?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah,
you didn't.
and that's the thing. We don't. That's because it's all part of this thing that we're doing. We're not going to because we care. We actually give a fuck about somebody other than ourselves today. So we're not going to allow somebody that we care about to get that far off the deep end.
Right.
Yeah, right. And we know that if someone's doing that to us, we're getting pretty close to the deep end. There's a reason that they're doing that to us.
Right.
Yeah, it comes from a place of love and caring and concern and yeah, it comes from a positive place. It's not this negative bullshit, just trying to push your buttons and fuck with you. And right, it comes from a place of love. It comes from a good place.
Right.
So right, so we accept it more because we understand it. We know that yeah, the people in our lives aren't trying to fucking hurt us,
Right.
even if it fucking hurts when they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, we don't, but that goes back to everything that we always talk about. I think both of us are very, picky and discerning and all those sort
Mhm.
of things when it comes to, the choices we make in life, specifically with people, that
Yeah,
we choose to
absolutely. Who we
spend time
allow
with.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. I ain't got time for any bullshit today. I'm
Right.
way too sober for this shit.
Yeah. No fucking doubt. But so that kind of jumps into the next one. This is just a couple down from this one. It says this was from the 24-hour book. It says as we gradually became problem drinkers, our lives
Hmm.
became more and more unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, do I realize now that things I did were far from natural?
Mm-hmm.
And so my question to you was, I mean, while you were drinking, well, I guess two questions. What do you think? I don't even know if this is the right way to put it. Like the most unnatural thing that you were doing on a daily basis while you were drinking, or did you realize that your life was, not going along what this natural human path should be? Does that make any sense?
That makes sense. Right. And I know that reading. I always liked that one out of
Right.
there. It was one of the, yeah, that made a lot of sense to me. Um, yes. Well, living in a way that wasn't natural. I don't know, dumping poison in my body every fucking day. Um, not
Right.
exactly natural. Um, but yeah, um, being a part of the way things are supposed to be, fighting against fighting against good, is fucking unnatural, man. We're supposed to be contributing to the good. And when we do that, our lives are easier, the lives of the people around us are easier. That's what I take from that. Of course I was acting unnaturally, aside from putting poison in my body every fucking day. um right, just being an asshole, but trying to irritate people around me on purpose because I was so fucking miserable. Misery loves company. Right. We want to be, even in the depths of my addiction and my misery and all of that. I didn't want to be truly alone. So if I was totally fucking miserable, I wanted people around me to be miserable. Now that I'm relatively happy, I want people around me to be happy. It's just, yeah, again, birds of a feather. I want to be a part of what I want to be a part of, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I was even I kind of as I was reading that back, I was thinking of like you said, poison in your body, and
Mm,
like me taking fucking shots and beers every morning to put context in. I mean, all
right.
unnatural behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Going into work loaded every day, and just all these different things. Um, but yeah, that's a really really good point. Just the way that we were. I know that and obviously you just said that we were
Mm-hmm.
acting as human beings, and to the people around us. When something went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
who can I blame, and who can I
Right.
go fucking vent to, and
Mm-hmm.
not even vent saying, "Ooh, listen to me," but
Right.
you are part of my problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you fucking up my life?
Right? Yeah. Well, I'm obviously I think about when Dawn and I went through our stuff, but I went through, I mean, mom and I went through a bad time on a couple of different occasions,
Right.
and around even the time when like Derek was born and stuff like that, we had this thing going on. When Dawn and I split, we had this thing going on. There was just this tension, and I know
Mm-hmm.
I know what it was now. It was me,
Right.
and she would never back down from a fight,
Of
so she
course.
was the perfect person to fight with,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew she'd always come back at it.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's God, what a great way to put it. Just, making again birds of a feather, making people miserable along with us. And
Right.
God damn, what a fucking what a horrible way to live.
Yep.
God.
Unnatural.
Yeah, you know what? Let's see, what was unnatural? Fucking all of it.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I've got I think I've got I don't know if it's one or two. I know I've got at least one news story, but I want to tell you a couple of things about this area. First of all,
Yeah.
um, I like Amarillo. I really do.
Mm.
It's kind of funny though. It's just when I was driving around and stuff like that. It's not like when I was in Albuquerque, you pull out of the area that I was in, you look to the right, and there's fucking mountains everywhere, or you
Mm-hmm.
run across desert stuff. Same
Right.
thing with Phoenix. As you're driving along, you see a lot of that landscape and that scenery.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a lot of that here.
Right.
So it's easy to forget where you are,
Right.
because it's not Texas-ish, or it's
Right.
not whatever the place is. It's not that,
Right.
but I don't mean that in a bad way. Okay.
Right.
So that was number one. But as I was driving into here, and I once I book a place and stuff like that, I'll hit Google Street View and then cruise around the neighborhood, and it looked like some older homes or whatever. I'm like, no big deal. But
Mhm.
as I was pulling in here, I'm looking at some of these, you see some of these houses. I'm like, that one looks kind of run down. That one's this. I'm like, as the kids would say, I'm like, this looks a little sketch,
Mm.
And it's like 2 blocks away from the highway, which is fine, not a big deal. When you stand outside, you can hear the traffic noise. Again, nothing big, nothing out of the ordinary. Um, but as I'm looking through here, and even this is a place behind a house, and it says in the Airbnb thing they're remodeling the house in front. And
Mhm.
as I started looking at a little bit of driving around that I've done, very little, but that's what it looks like. It looks like this is a neighborhood. The kind of people are. It's not being like gentrified or anything like that. But it just
Mhm.
looks like there's people are buying these older homes, and it looks like an area that kind of ran down. It's coming back up.
Right.
So that's why again it does look a little sketchy, because I think some people are buying some of these abandoned homes. They're fixing them up.
Right.
So no issues, anything like that. Nothing at all. I haven't felt unsafe, or it's been perfect. But the screaming cock. you, you, prob-
Yes.
you probably know what I mean. It's a goddamn rooster down the road.
Mhm.
And all fucking day, as soon as you start to get a little bit of light, because I'm up at 5 a.m,
Right.
and I'll be sitting here doing my reading here down the road. And I'm like, what the fuck? The first day. And then I just keep hearing it a little bit in the background, and I don't know where it's at, but all day, all goddamn day. And it's a
Mm.
few houses down, so it's not like it's like really loud or anything like that.
Right.
But when it's quiet in here, and or if I'm outside, obviously when there's light,
Mhm.
his fucking thing is just constant. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, shut your goddamn cock up.
Right.
But again, it's fine. It's fine. It's nothing bad. But then I went down to on Sunday. Went down to that Polidoro Canyon.
Mhm.
Um, Fucking mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I missed the Grand Canyon. I talked about that. Obviously, the
Mhm.
weather didn't take a trip up there. When I showed Kimmy some of the pictures, she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "That looks literally like a mini Grand Canyon." And
Right.
I'm like, "That's exactly what it is." I said,
Mhm.
"It is clearly not as expansive as," and I was only in part of,
Right.
but when you drive in there, you're going down this, you go down this one, take a left. It's like 30 minutes away from here. It's not that far.
Mhm.
And you take this left on this road, and then it's like a, I don't know, kind of a farm road type of thing, but
Right.
it's fucking 75-mile-an-hour road, like a
Oh yeah.
back road. And I'm like, this is fucking weird, but I'm like, boom, fucking barrel it down there. And then you get up and you go in. It was probably 15-20 minute wait for me to get in there, because it was Sunday. It was beautiful.
Mhm.
I mean, shit, it was like fucking 80 degrees or 75 degrees or whatever it
Right.
was. Um, and then you drive, the road goes down into the canyon, so
Right.
that's where all these trails are. So I hit
Mhm.
this one, and I mean, I don't know, you probably saw the pictures, but
Right.
so I went up on this one peak, and it was probably 3 miles total back and forth.
Mhm.
But I mean, it was, when I was reading all this stuff, there was some people complaining like, oh, this was this, and it should be weighted, or said it's more than just whatever. And again, I can see what they're talking about. Same thing as the last trail I was on. It wasn't fucking hard, but they're called switchbacks. It's kind of like winding
Mhm.
back and forth getting up.
Right.
But I mean, I get up there, I'm like, I took, I don't know how many fucking pictures, but like 70.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm looking at this. I feel like I'm looking at the same shit, but I'm like, it was spectacular. And I
Mhm.
only saw a portion of it. Then I went down and I saw this one right off the road. I don't know, probably literally the equivalent of 2 blocks where that cave was. So that was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Right.
Um,
That was the part I was at.
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Oh, you did that.
35. Yeah. 35 years ago or some shit. Right.
Oh, okay. So that big cave, you were there? Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, literally. Well, then it's like, I mean, 2 block walk
Yeah.
off the
Right.
road. But man, it was just, it was nice. I would have loved to spend more time there, but fucking it was $8 to get in,
Mhm.
and I was just fucking mind blown. It was so fucking beautiful, so
Yes.
beautiful. But highly, highly, highly recommend it. I'm sure there's other places to see around here, because it was like hour and a half away, there was another, hope it's another canyon or whatever it is, but fuck, this place is just, in the summertime, I can't even fucking imagine.
Right.
Because there's no, when you're doing it, you might be able to get couple of times here and there where you can grab some shade where you're blocked by part of the hill, mountain,
Right.
whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're just, and when you walk in, they've got this, literally like this dial that tells you how quickly you're going to fucking burn depending on the day. And I thought about it right before I left because I have sunscreen and I have bug spray in my little backpack, but I haven't been carrying it with me lately because I mean, it hasn't been.
Right.
But it's a little chilly when I first got there, so I had a long sleeve shirt on when I first left. But I put sunscreen on my arms and my neck and stuff like that before I left, and I'm glad I did because I would have got fucking burned. I mean, there's no fucking doubt. I mean, I was out there for a couple hours.
Sure.
But again, just highly fucking recommended. It was nice. But yeah, this whole area, it's wonderful. The weather's been great, and it's like 25, 30 degrees in the morning, and it's been warming up, not every day, but there's some days it was fucking 88 degrees the other day.
Nice.
And it was like 28 or 30 degrees in the morning. And I'm like, what?
Right.
But yeah, it was nice. Highly recommended. I love the area, and the place I'm staying is nice. Oh, the lock on the door has got one of the keypad locks.
Right.
As it got warm, the door itself must have swelled a little bit. Then the door wasn't locking, so they finally. I'm like, God, fuck! I thought maybe it was just I didn't know what was going on, but you had to kind of like to lock the door. You kind of had to like push on the door and lift up a little bit to get the deadbolt to lock. And I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't. It wouldn't lock from the outside. So that when I went to the Cadillac Ranch, I'm like, fuck it, I just left the door up. So I'm like, I want to, I want to go, but I didn't go to the Big Texan until the other night after they got it fixed. But they were cool. The host was fine. This place is comfortable. Big Texan, on another side note, very cool. When I said in that note that I said it was classic, it is. It's not. It's not old. It's not dingy. But it's cool. Very very cool.
Right. Yeah. So I've been there a couple of times. I enjoyed it every time I've been there.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, I didn't feel like sitting in the restaurant. I got carry out and came back here and ate. Because I'm like, well, what's the point? I'm just sitting there by myself and whatever. I'm like, I'll come back here and eat. And it was fine. But when I went in there, I was trying to order on the app because it was saying it could take like 30 minutes. So I'm like, this will be perfect. I'll get there. I'll take some pictures, kick around the inside. My food will be ready and I'll be fine. I couldn't get it wouldn't take my card on the app. And I'm like, it's telling me that the card didn't match my address, which is wrong. Because obviously my card, I know my address and it was fine.
Right.
But I went in there. They're like, oh yeah, go over. You got to order, carry out from the bar. I'm like, no big deal. Didn't think about it. So again, one of these times when, like we were talking about before, I think, or the last couple episodes, I don't think about drinking, but I'm proud when I'm in the opportunity or had the opportunity to say no. So walk up, all these people in there, again, the cowboy hats and this and that, the couple of people sitting in the bar, not a lot of people, but I mean, it's a nice full fucking bar area.
Sure.
So I order it up and I said, know what I want, this and that. And he's like, okay. He goes, maybe 15, 20 minutes at the most. I'm like, that's cool. And he's like, you want to drink while you're waiting? And I'm like, nah, I'm good. He goes, you sure? He goes, I grab your drink real quick. I'm like, nah, I'm good. That's all I said. And then he's like, you want tea or something like that? Which I gave that guy credit because he got 2 no's. And then he offered something non-alcohol, even though he didn't say, do you want some fucking booze?
Right.
He was nice, and I'm like, I'm good. I said, I'm going to go outside, take a couple pictures. I said, I'm fine. I'm good.
Right.
But I'm walking out of there. I'm like, yeah, I just said no. And again, so silly, but it's these little moments where
absolutely,
it's just like, okay, yeah, I'm in the middle of fucking, middle of fucking nowhere, sort of.
Sure.
Nobody around, sort of. I can do whatever the fuck I want, sort of.
Right.
And I got the opportunity and the ability to say fucking no.
Right. No, thank you. I don't need that today.
Yeah, and I just he was nice. He was super nice about the whole thing, but I'm like, yeah, I'm good. All right, so actually, you know what? It was only one news story. All right, so have you ever heard of Michael Jordan?
Who?
Yeah, I know, but the reason I say this is
because play a little baseball for a minute.
Yeah, he did. But did you hear about his son Marcus got arrested?
I did not.
Okay. So Marcus Jordan, son of Michael Jordan, arrested in Central Florida for DUI and drug charges. Okay. So the reason I started off with, do you know Michael Jordan? Because apparently this dumb fuck was name dropping
Oh, of course.
to the cops,
Mhm.
apparently all through this stuff. But so Orange County, Florida, this was, I don't even know when it was. It says February 5th when the, whatever, doesn't matter. Marcus Jordan's son of basketball star Michael Jordan was arrested and booked to Orange County Jail Tuesday morning. The 34-year-old, who owns a boutique shoe store in downtown Orlando, didn't know that, didn't care, is facing charges of DUI with property damage, possession of cocaine, and resisting an officer. Okay.
Partay. Yep.
Yeah, big time partay. Police say that they were traveling on Greenwood Road when they noticed the vehicle's headlights on the railroad tracks, adding that the vehicle was not moving. According to the report, there was a train traveling toward the area approximately 10 minutes away. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So they made contact with him. First of all, he's in a fucking blue Lamborghini SUV. He said he made a wrong turn, according to the report.
Clearly, several.
Yeah.
I think you made a few wrong turns.
When talking to Jordan, an officer said that he had slurred speech, bloodshot eyes, smelled of alcohol, and didn't seem to know where he was. Again, I don't mean to fucking laugh, but
no. We're laughing because we recognize that.
Game recognized game.
That's right.
Marcus said another passenger. Oh, I didn't know he had a passenger in the car. No additional details about the passenger. Blah blah blah. He had just come from a few venues down the road. Position railroad tracks. Hang on one second. Talking to, oh, God damn, I'm sorry. This thing flipped back as there was an ad that popped up.
Of course.
During the arrest, the report said Marcus was not cooperative with the officers, included pulling away on his walk to the patrol car, refusing to get in the vehicle, and sticking his leg out to prevent the officers from shutting the vehicle door. Officers said the alcohol smell in the vehicle became stronger as they transported Marcus to the DUI center. Dude, you fucking reek.
Right.
Oh, fucking Ed. God damn it. Just kick this article out. Okay, I'm going to go by memory because they talked about this on the morning show I listened to. So basically what he kept doing once he got in the car, first of all, kept dropping Michael Jordan's name, kind of like,
of course.
This, I don't know if he actually said, do you know who I am? But it was sort of along those lines.
Of course.
By the way, I'm Michael Jordan's son. Do you know Michael Jordan?
Right.
And yeah, he apparently the resisting the officer. I mean, I don't know if it was when they got to, I think it was when they got to the hospital, DUIs, whatever their DUI center is. It got belligerent with the officer, so like was kind of trying to either fight them or do whatever. I just all fucking mess. But yeah, they found cocaine in his car. Obviously had the DUI. Trying to chop Michael Jordan's name. Do you know who my fucking father is?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, Jordan had his trouble with. Did he ever get? I know he was a bit of a boozer at the time, wasn't he, Michael? No?
I don't know. Never paid that much attention.
I watched some documentary. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but I don't know. And again, as I was laughing my ass off because again, like you just said, not laughing at him, but just the links that we will go to, And I mean, I suppose, if I was in that position and my fucking dad was Michael Jordan, I mean, not that it would help, but I mean, I'd probably throw it out there.
He's probably been doing it his entire life. Why would he not do it that night?
Yeah. And again, he's driving around his fucking Lamborghini SUV. I didn't even know they had Lamborghini SUVs. But I don't know. It just once again, sounds like again trying to talk to the guy, and he didn't seem to know where he was. Which, well, he was sitting on railroad tracks, so I'm guessing that that probably is a good point.
Speaking of Groundhog Day, don't drive on the railroad tracks. That's what I actually agree with.
Exactly. Oh, one last thing here. Obviously, who Josh Brolin is. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
the actor.
right.
Okay. He's sober.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the next audiobook I started listening to because he's been on a lot of podcasts. I think he was on Mark Maron. Was he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, about a year or so ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to that one.
It was a good one, and he was on Dax. He was on God, I don't know. He's been on a few different ones, and kind of talking up his book and stuff like that. Everyone's saying how good his book was.
Right.
So his book so far, if anyone's interested, it's so far, and I'm only probably an hour into his book, as 5 or 6 hours, whatever it is. Maybe I'm 2 in. I actually enjoyed his interviews more than I'm enjoying the book so far, but it's just that he's doing his book is almost it's read in this jump forward, jump back. He'll be like June 1988, the Goonies, and then he'll be like 2005, whatever. Oh, Old Country or whatever for Old Country something. You know what I'm
No
talking
Country for Old
There
Men.
you go. No Country for Old Men. But so he's going back and forth with this stuff, and he tells these short stories. He hasn't gotten into a deep part. Apparently, his mom's a fucking trip. That's a lot of the things he talked about. So interesting enough. But it's just kind of funny that in obviously the Super Bowl is coming up in New Orleans, which had nothing to do with what he was talking about. But he was talking about a time that he spent in New Orleans, whatever, probably some fucked up thing that happened to him. But he said, he goes, New Orleans. He goes, I love New Orleans. The way that city fucked me and the way I fucked it back. And out of all the things he said, I'm like, I got to remember that one. I pulled over, shortly after that, and I'm like, yeah, I took that one. Yeah, the way the city fucked me and the way I fucked it back. Like, I may need to use that line at some point.
Right.
So, all right. Well, you know what? I think, I don't know. It's up to you. Do you want to be done? Are we done?
I believe we're done.
All right. Then I guess it's your turn.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Hang on. I ain't ready for this.
I was gonna say, we kind of did that a little bit abruptly this time. I don't know. Do I usually give more of a lead in, or do you know?
Usually a couple more seconds, but it's fine. It's
okay.
All
anyhow,
good.
Hang on. Are you ready yet?
No, but I will do it anyway. Right. So thank you, everyone, for listening to yet another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out and do something nice for somebody this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. Now, from the bottom of my heart to the depths of my soul, from the beginning of time till the ends of the earth, always and eternally, fuck you. And now it's time, kids. It is that time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying, you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
And you know what? For all you new listeners, if you want to know where those last 2 bits came from, fucking go back and listen and figure it out.
Right.
Because we told the story plenty of times. You could probably go back within, a year?
Oh, yeah.
Year? Yeah. But, we talk about it enough, where all those things came from. They had meaning. But, yeah, you're going to have to go back and do a little bit of work. This is what you get as new listeners. Do some work and then report back. Do some of our fucking work so we can sit back and actually just talk and enjoy ourselves more.
Yeah, right.
It's all about us, right?
That's right. It's not about you. Go do the work. Do the footwork.
Yeah, exactly. But that's with the poker game. I mean, I'm going to be up in Appleton babysitting for Ollie that night, or I would definitely. I think I'd make a cruise out there and maybe play some poker.
But probably going to be the first of a few. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris and Angel and Mara, everybody has been on this show. Again, go back and listen. They were like, we need to get this going again. We need to get together and hang out. So so we're doing it.
Well, let's and I haven't really. I sort of half took a look at it at one point, but I mean, I'm always out there for our anniversary week anyhow,
Right.
and I think it's the way it falls this week. If I remember correctly, it's going to be towards the end of April that we'd probably get together. But so worst case scenario, I know that's a couple months off, but not too far. So let's plan it for for that, like around our anniversary weekend, whenever we do that.
All right. Well, yeah, because actually, technically, the anniversary weekend is Easter this year.
Is it really?
Yeah. Easter is the 20th. So it falls dead smack in the middle of our anniversaries. So I'll probably end up coming to Kathy since my car's running.
Yeah, but then I think that I would be out in Cleveland the following week, because we always wait until
we're both there.
Right.
No fronts.
Right. Yeah. So I think it'd be April. Oh yeah, that would be
26th.
Yeah, 26. Okay. Yeah. So last weekend of April. But in March I actually just because did I tell you Derek and Katie are moving in together?
No.
Oh yeah. So this just came up. Yeah, it just
Mazel
came up
tov.
recent. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I meant to bring it up. I probably forgot last week. But so, long story short, Katie's dad, I guess, just bought a house. He was living in a condo in Jackson, which is about 15 minutes north of Germantown, not that far.
Okay. Right.
So still close. Derek works there. Katie works in West Dallas. That gives her commute a little bit longer, but I guess they've been talking about trying to find a place, and because originally the thought was Derek wanted to buy a house, blah blah blah, do whatever.
Right.
But I think they were looking for a place. So her dad is going to rent them his condo,
Cool.
and then they're moving in on March 15th. That's going to be their final move. They're kind of doing stuff slowly as they're going up to it.
Right.
But then the next weekend after that, Ollie, that's his birthday party. Ollie's birthday is the 15th,
Right.
but they're doing his birthday party the next weekend, the 23rd, that's Sunday. So I just booked I found an Airbnb in West Bend, but it's on a little lake called Green Lake. So I'm going to be there for like 16 days. I did it from like a Saturday through like the following Monday. So 16 days. I took off that Monday, the 24th. Long story short, Wisconsin's really fucking expensive for Airbnbs. It doesn't fucking matter. But I found cute little house on a lake. So yeah, in Wisconsin in fucking March. Okay, but anyhow, it'll be nice. But so I got that booked. So I'm going to be up there so I can be there when they move and Ollie's birthday and blah blah blah. But
nice.
Yeah, but my point there was that that's the only thing I got planned, and I don't know. I got to get my, obviously, as we were talking about, kind of get my money settled in over the next couple of months. But I mean, kicking out to Cleveland. I mean, I still plan on doing that, obviously, for the anniversary and figuring out who knows. I don't know. If I start making a ton of money, maybe I'll be rich by April, and none of it'll fucking matter.
Right.
Just doesn't matter. I got a lot of money now.
Right.
Wish in one hand, shit the other.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. But
we're
anyhow,
all back to even.
Exactly. Okay. Well, you know what? On that note, I love you. I love you, brother.
I love you too.
We'll talk soon.
We will.
All righty. Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.